Good morning everyone. Myself Solanki Dhruvi.
And myself, Kruti Solanki. And we are the interns of Vedic Dental College.
We are discussing about the labial bow.
Labial bow is that component of removable orthodontic appliance which helps in retracting and retaining the anterior teeth. Parts of labial bow. This is horizontal arm, this is U-loop, and this is retentive arm. Then the uses of labial bow. First, it is used for anterior retraction. Second, for retention of anterior teeth after orthodontic treatment. And third, used for reinforcement of anchorage.
There are many types of labial bow.
First, short labial bow. Second, long labial bow. Third, split labial bow. Fourth, Roberts retractor. Fifth, Mills retractor. Sixth, high labial bow with apron spring.
Bow with elastic,
Seventh, labial bow with elastics.
wires,
Labial bow with self-straightening wire.
shoulder
Fitted labial bow.
rickets
Shoulder labial bow. Rickets retention bow. Beck's retention bow. Short labial bow. Most commonly used wire used is 0.8 mm round stainless steel for retention and 0.7 round stainless steel for retraction. Uses of short labial bow: minor overjet reduction, anterior space closure, and retention after orthodontic treatment. Discuss about the design of labial bow. The bow is adapted on the labial surface of incisor at junction of middle and incisal third of the teeth. Then the loop should be formed above the gingival margin, that is 2 mm above the gingival margin, and should be sort of sulcus to prevent the irritation of soft tissue. And the distal arm of the vertical loop is adapted on the palatal on the lingual surface of the cast to form a tax. Then comes the activation of short labial bow. It is activated by compressing the U loop, and after compression, the bands are readapted on the labial surface of incisor. Advantage of short labial bow. First, it can be fabricated easily. Second, useful for correcting minor discrepancy in the overjet. Third, used for retention. Fourth, hooks can be shouldered, which are useful for attachment of elastic, contraindicated in case of severe proclination of incisor because the horizontal bow have a tendency to slip gingivally when activated. Design of labial bow for retention and for retraction. For retention, 0.8 mm stainless steel wire is used, and for retraction, 0.7. Horizontal bow, it is placed at the labial surface of incisor at junction of middle and incisal third, and for retraction, it is placed at the middle of middle third. Then loops, it is placed in the mesial third of canine, both in retention and for retraction. Long labial bow. Wire used: 0.8 mm stainless steel for retention, 0.7 mm stainless steel for retraction. Horizontal bow. It is adapted on the labial surface of incisor and canine at junction of middle and incisal third of the teeth. Then second is loop. It should be formed above the gingival margin, that is 2 mm, and should be sort of sulcus to prevent the irritation. And the distal arm of the vertical loop is adapted like a retentive arm on the palatal surface. The activation of labial bow. Activation of long labial bow is similar to that of short labial bow, that is by compressing the U-loop and then adapt on the labial surface of the teeth. Application of long labial bow. First, closure of space distal to canine. Second, it guides the canine during canine retraction using palatal retractor. And third, in case of premolar extraction, in order to prevent relapse between canine and second premolar, it is used as retention after orthodontic treatment. Disadvantage: flattening of an arch result if care is not taken while activating.
Split labial bow. Wire used: 0.7 mm stainless steel wire. There are two types.
Type A and type B.
Components of both are same. There are two separate short buccal arm, U-loop and retentive arm.
Then, design of split labial bow. Type A, there is split in the middle, and in type B, two half crosses each other at the midline and engage to distal aspect of central incisor of opposite side. Indication: it is used in midline diastema when central incisor does not overlap with lateral incisor, and in type B, it is also used in midline diastema when central incisor overlaps with lateral incisor. Activation of type A and type B is done by closing the U loop. Advantage: first, flexibility is more, and second, for minor correction of space. Disadvantage: flattening of an arch results if care is not taken while activating. Robert's retractor. Wire use is of 0.5 mm stainless steel. Then comes the component: horizontal bow, vertical arm, coil, retentive arm reinforced with sleeves. Then comes the construction. First, horizontal bow. It is placed on a labial surface of incisor at middle third of teeth and then bent at the distal surface of the incisor so that bends run parallel to the root of the canine. Second is coil, which is placed 2 to 3 mm above the gingival margin. Then metal tubing. It is placed at the distal arm of the coil in order to protect the wire from the fracture because the wire uses 0.5 mm. And retentive arm, which is placed on the palatal surface of teeth. Then activation. It is activated by placing a band in the vertical limb of the wire where it is emerged from the coil so that the wire is displaced palatal by 3 mm. Advantage: useful for correction of severe protrusion of teeth, more flexible, lighter force, long range of action. It is because of formula F proportional to d4 by L cube. So as the length increases, force acting will be decreases, and because of that it produces a light force, and due to light force it has a long range of action. Disadvantage: uncomfortable to the patient and not used in lower arch because of shallow sulcus. Mills retractor. Wire use is 0.8 mm stainless steel wire. Design of Mills retractor: place a sharp U bend towards the cervical portion of the teeth and readapt the wire on the teeth towards the midline. Then close to the midline, place vertical bend to the wire on either side and 2 to 3 mm beyond the gingival margin. Place another gentle bend laterally on either side to adapt the bend parallel to the gingival margin. Advantage: first, useful for correction of severe protrusion of teeth. Second, more flexible. Third, lighter force. And fourth, long range of action. It is because of formula F proportional to d4 by L cube. So as length increases, force acting will be decreases, and because of decreased force, it has a long range of action. Disadvantage: first, bulky, less comfortable to patient, and cannot be adjusted precisely. High labial bow with apron spring. Wire use is of stainless steel of 0.9 mm for high labial bow and 0.4 mm for apron spring. Parts of high labial bow with apron spring. First, horizontal arm. Second, frenum relief. Third, retentive arm. Fourth, apron spring or auxiliary spring. Construction. First, apron spring is made up by winding one end of 0.4 mm wire on the base of wire tightly and forming an apron for one, two, or group of teeth as required and winding it back on the base of the wire in opposite direction. Finally, the apron spring is shouldered on the base at a point where it is tightly tied to it. Activation: apron spring is bent towards the teeth for activation either by finger or by pliers. Advantage: useful for retracting the teeth with severe proclination, lighter force, long range of action, and can be used to correct a single teeth. Lighter forces is produced because of formula F proportional to d4 by L cube. So as the length increases, force decreases, and due to that light force will be produced and of long range of action. Disadvantage: it is not well tolerated by the patient, it is time consuming for fabrication, and it is not used in lower arch because of shallow sulcus.
Let's talk about the reverse labial bow. Wire use: 0.7 mm stainless steel wire. For construction of labial bow, place the wire on the cast at the middle third of the teeth and mark 2.1 each at the contact point between the canine and premolar and other side. Make a right angle bend and at the point of 2 to 3 mm above the gingival margin. Make a reverse loop such that its mesial arm passes between the lateral incisor and canine over the contact point to form retentive arm on the palatal aspect.
Activation. It is activated by opening the coil of about 3 mm and later compensating band are placed at the base of the loop.
For advantage of this, control the canine, prevent the buccal drift of canine during the retraction of anterior. Can be used to retain anterior teeth after active treatment is completed. Disadvantage: care is not taken to activate it properly, it can destroy easily. Different from other. It allows the settling of occlusion at the end of the active phase of orthodontic treatment as vertical arm passes between the lateral incisor and canine.
Labial bow with elastic. Wire use is 0.7 mm stainless steel wire. Construction. Short labial bow is constructed using 0.7 mm. Then two hooks made up of 0.7 mm wire are soldered on the distal arm of the vertical loop of U-loop on either side to carry the elastic to retract the incisor. Then it is activated by changing the elastics. Advantage: continuous light force is present, less chance of slippage of elastic due to the presence of labial bow. Disadvantage: flattening of an arch and aesthetic compromise.
Labial bow with self-straightening wire. Wire used: zero point 0.7 or 0.8 mm wire for labial bow and 0.4 mm wire for self-straightening wire. For construction, labial bow is made by 0.7 mm or 0.8 mm stainless steel wire and retentive arm adapted on the palatal or lingual surface. Then, retentive arm can be shouldered on the bridge of the Adams clasp. Self-straightening wire of 0.4 mm is wound on the labial bow, mesial to the U-loop, and then required amount of wire is taken. A hook is bent at the free end and is attached to the other side of the labial bow. It can made on one side or both sides. If it is made on one side, it has tendency to flatten the arch anteriorly. The use of two wire minimize this effect. Advantage: range of action is more, can be used for correction of mild proclination or spacing of teeth. Disadvantage: individual tooth movement can be carried out. It has tendency to flatten the arch.
Fitted labial bow. Wire use is 0.8 mm stainless steel wire. Then construction. Similar to short labial bow, except that the horizontal bow part is closely adapted onto the labial's anterior teeth. Advantage of fitted labial bow. It is used for retention after active orthodontic treatment in case of severe crowding and rotation of teeth after active tooth movement.
Shoulder labial bow. Wire use: 0.7 mm stainless steel wire. For construction, construct a bow similar to the long labial bow and instead of adapting the retentive arm on the palatal side, adapt them straight to the bridge of the Adams clasp on the other side and solder them onto the Adams clasp. For activation, solder labial bow is activated by closing the U-loop. Advantage: it allows the settling of occlusal at the end of the active phase of orthodontic treatment as it is single unit of wire with no wire crossing the occlusal surface. Disadvantage: fracture of labial bow. It may necessary to replace the whole appliance.
Rickets retention bow. Wire use 0.7 mm stainless steel. Construction. A bow is made out of 0.7 mm wire using finger extending from one canine to the other canine, keeping it at the middle third of the teeth. At about the contact point between canine and premolar, the free end are recurved over the horizontal arm, and the wire is passed up and above the contact point between lateral incisor and canine on the lingual surface. Advantage: used for retention and helps in controlling the canine. Disadvantage: only used in lower arch. Aesthetic compromise.
Beck's retention bow. Wire use 0.9 mm stainless steel wire. For construction, design of this labial bow is unique in the sense that it serves the purpose of both active component as well as retentive component of removable orthodontic appliance. As the distal surface of premolar, place a U-loop extending up to the mesial aspect of molar. The distal arm is adapted behind the last erupted tooth and on the palatal surface to form retentive tags. Advantage: it allows the settling of occlusal at the end of the active phase of orthodontic treatment as it is single unit of wire with no wire crossing the occlusal surface. Disadvantage: if it is not constructed well, retention may not be very good. It can be destroyed easily while adjusting if care is not taken. Labial bow with attachments for miscellaneous uses. Eyelet can be formed or J hooks can be shouldered in the region of incisor of labial bow for engaging the elastics.
Now, let's discuss about the various labial bow and their difference. Dhruvi, why long labial bow is used in case of short labial bow?
Long labial bow is used in case where first premolar is extracted in order to prevent the relapse between the canine and second premolar. Long labial bow is used. Kruti, why split labial bow is used in place of short labial bow?
So, the main indication of split labial bow is used in midline diastema. So, in order to correct the midline diastema, split labial bow is used. So, split labial bow has two types, type A and type B. So, type A is used where there is a proper alignment of teeth, and type B is used where there is overlap of central incisor and over lateral incisor. So, in that case, split labial bow is used.
Kruti, why Robert's retractor used in case of short labial bow?
So the main disadvantage of short labial bow is the horizontal bow that slips gingivally. So it is not used in case of severe procrastination. So the main advantage of Robert's retractor is used in severe procrastination.
Kruti, why Mills retractor used in case of short labial bow?
So, in case of Mills retractor, as according to the formula F is equal to D4 by L cube, so the length increases, the force acting will be less. So, lighter force will be produced and it is of long range of action. But the main contraindication of Mills retractor, it's not used in lower arch because of shallow sulcus. So, short labial bow is used in lower arch. So Dhruvi, why high labial bow with apron spring is used?
High apron spring is used in case of severe procrastination. According to the formula, F is proportional to D4 by L cube. As the length is increased, lighter force is produced and range of action will be longer.
So why Mills retractor and Roberts retractor is not used in severe procrastination?
The main advantage of high apron spring is used as the single tooth movement or individual tooth movement. Why reverse loop labial bow is used in case where the short labial bow is used? In short labial bow, the buccal drifting of canine may occur after the treatment. So, reverse labial bow is used, that is to prevent the buccal drifting of canine after the orthodontic treatment. The reverse labial bow is used. Kruti, why Beck's retention bow is used? Beck's retention bow is used after active orthodontic treatment is completed. In case where first premolar is extracted and second molar is absent. So the retentive arm of short labial bow and Adams should not coincide with each other. So in that case, the Beck's retention bow is used. Hope you liked the video and had a great learning about labial bow. Thank you for watching.